The education of Africans has always revolved around education for servitude. That has not changed one whit. I have warned in Awakening the Natural Genius of Black Children that the main purpose of education is not preparing Black children for jobs. It is not preparing them to work for white folk. That is not the main purpose of the education of our children or our people. For if that is our main purpose, then it means another constant has remained in the world, and that's the constant of slavery under a different name. Now it's called looking for a job, with the same people having the jobs and the same people determining our wages. If you're talking about true change in the world, then you must educate yourself to create your own jobs and to employ yourself. But today, education for Blacks, I don't care how high it is essentially still being defined in terms of servitude. And we think when we are educated in terms of how and where we will be employed by Europeans. That has to change. But the education of Black people from 1619 right to this very moment has had this as a central tenet: training Black folk to serve white folks' interests. Training Black folk to be as productive as possible for Europeans, with the Europeans owning the means of production. Education that was separate and unequal. And believe me, I'm not an advocate of integrated education. Education that was ultimately and is ultimately degrading to Black people has not changed. It was that way from the beginning, and it's that way right now. Education that ultimately insults the history and culture of African people. Education that is Eurocentric, meaning an education that prepares Black people to maintain European power as the central power in the world. Education of Black people according to the white man's estimation of Black intelligence and his need to shape and direct it. I've warned you before that you need to change the definition of intelligence before you get into an argument with Europeans as to whether their tests are measuring intelligence or not. You must ask, what is the political function of your definition of intelligence? What is the political economy of your definition of intelligence? And why is it that the way you define intelligence always ends up that means intelligent people work for you and your interest? So consequently then, we must recognize as an African people that the ultimate goal of intelligence must be that of preparing a people to solve their problems.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. Shouts out to Erica. Grandma used to say, make sure y'all subscribe to her. Shouts out to Considra. Make sure y'all subscribe to her and support Realm in the Bush. You know, I'm sorry for coming on late. You know, we was over on Bakari channel. Y'all subscribe to Bakari, you know, and that was a good conversation. You know, and I don't mean to come on here late, and you know, I don't have that much time either. So, you know, but I did want to show y'all some things, you know, because, you know, just some things that stood out to me, right? And then with us, you know, it's like our revolution has got to be supervised by somebody else because we just can't take it into our own hands, right? But let me get into it, right? So I'm not long. And if you want to come on here, just let me know and I will put the link out there for you. But like I said, it's not going to be long here. So let me just show y'all what I wanted to show y'all. So first, I'm gonna go here though, right? Because this is something we got to understand. And she's saying, who else not worried about them enforcing Jim Crow laws again? We are not our ancestors. We will F y'all up. Try us if you want. You know what I'm saying? So, but listen to something the sister said, because we were just talking about this the other day.
Every time I see a post like this, I almost find it funny, because it is because of the strength of our ancestors that you think you're strong. The conditions we have today would look like a dream world to our ancestors. And that's not to insinuate that the world is perfect by any means, but the materials that exist for Black people today are why you can even envision fighting back. Though it, of course, should be noted, they did. Similarly to how the young woman who came on this app not too long ago and blamed Africans for not stopping slavery didn't seem to understand what colonization actually looked like, how violent and terrifying what it actually looks like to stand against an army that outweighs and outnumbers you and wants you dead or in chains. I don't think African Americans who say things like that understand what slavery or segregation in America actually looked like. There are people who have said things are just as bad today. I personally would love to see how people who say things like that would survive if the treatment of Black people in 1919 was legal again, just for a day, where accidentally entering a whites only area as a child legally resulted in a group of white people stoning you to death, and the police showing up and joining in. Or back even further, when it was legal to feed Black children to alligators, cut Black people up and make them into furniture. Our ancestors weren't not people up. And when they weren't, it certainly wasn't because they were too composed or too pussy. The imbalance of power was insurmountable, even though eventually beaten, and it took decades of death and pain and work and tenacity and strength and courage and suffering and unity to do so. It is because our ancestors went through hell to create a world so much easier for us that you think this is what they dealt with, that this is what they had to overcome. And because of that false comparison, it is why you can scoff and say, this would be easy. Because compared to what they had, it would be. The issue is you forget how much worse what they had was, because you're lucky enough not to live it. And don't get me wrong, I believe people can mobilize and fight big systems and revolt and work together. It's clearly happened before. But I don't believe in the arrogance of a generation that didn't do that and can barely correctly unite to boycott a non-necessity product, speaking ill of those who did.
Like it's literally
Right. So, and what's going on, Raw? So, and she's right. When people be like, we not our ancestors, what they was doing? They was putting in work back in the day for half of the stuff that they was doing. They wasn't just letting other people come into their communities. You know what I'm saying? But and Erica mentioned it. She said, well, we might not be our ancestors. And unfortunately, that can change, but unfortunately, right, it doesn't look good, because I want to show you, right? Because back then, and we got to understand, I don't think we got a grasp of how things are. You know why? It was because they actually protected their communities. They did shoot back. They was having the police shootings the same as today, right? But today we don't do anything. But today, this is a young brother. And I don't want to put this young brother on blast, but when I seen this, I got to show y'all this, right? Listen to this brother here as he's reinstated here, you know what I'm saying? Because maybe we not our damn ancestors, but watch this.
And so, for you guilty people, the people got a message. We gonna build this movement. 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 You and you and you and you and you and we gonna build this movement, because we are convinced that there is a different vision for Memphis. There's a different vision for Shelby County. There's a different vision for Tennessee. There's a different vision for the South. There's a different vision for these United States of America. And I believe it's a vision of the people who've been pushed to the periphery.
You think he giving the second I have a dream speech? He said, I got a vision.
Well, I believe that it's a vision of the people who've been marginalized, coming to the well. I believe it is a vision of people who've been ostracized, coming to the well. See, I see white folk and black folk. I see queer folk and straight
I see black folk, I see white folk, I see queer folk, I see straight folk.
Rich folk and poor folk moving from the back to the well of the house, demanding justice right now, not tomorrow, but right now. Justice right now. And it is this movement that's gonna change this country. It's this movement in this moment in time that's gonna change the country. And I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. I'm so glad. Yes. Yes.
Oh man. Got the African drummers out there. Now this is him being celebrating after he was ousted out of the government for the second time. This is this brother celebrating his re-entry into the their government. What's going on, Oni? Well, he about to break it down now. He's super glad.
That he's done it again. That she's done it again. That God's done it again. Oh, they lynched us on Thursday.
He said they lynched us on Thursday. What is he doing right now? What the hell is he doing? And then they got the drummer back here. What the hell is going on?
They lynched us on Thursday. Saturday was real quiet. Sunday was real silent. Monday was even quiet.
CNN national correspondent Ryan Young.
So CNN had to cut this off. Like, what in the corn shucking is going on out here? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, maybe we are not our ancestors, but that's just crazy. I don't know what this brother is out here doing, and he's young, you know what I'm saying? So like, but sometimes you might get a stain on your stuff, you know what I'm saying, to where you don't recover, right? And then as far as black people, what don't we understand about their government, right? Neither side is for you. Democrats, Republican, is all the same thing, and we sitting here acting like it's not. Like, maybe if you're voting about fixing potholes on your street, that's one thing, you know what I'm saying? But when we sit here and Democrat in front of your name, Justin Pearson, will return, the Democrats can have him. I wouldn't say he's black. He's probably Democrat first, but Lord have mercy. He said black and white folks out here, queer and straight folks out here celebrating. And yeah, and he's a young brother, a young policymaker, up and coming. Well, if they don't kick him out again, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, consider it's disgusting. But I want to show you, you know what I'm saying, just because it's coming up, like, it's not the Democrats or the Republicans. Listen to, this is in Philadelphia, right? Because we talk about disposing of your own waste, you know what I'm saying? Listen to what he's saying about trash going into black areas, you know what I'm saying? Because that's where Philly has been putting all their trash, in the majority black community. Because the environment thing is not just water, it's everything, you know what I'm saying? We need everything, and that's why we need all soldiers at hand. And we don't need young brothers sitting there doing, making a Christian speech, doing the African dance, celebrating his re-entry into their Congress, celebrating for everyone except himself. That's the crazy thing, because except himself, he gonna just get kicked out again probably. Well, listen to what these Democrats have to say.
A truck, some of its trash has spurred accusations of pollution and environmental racism, specifically from the residents of Chester. Would you, as mayor, keep or change the existing waste disposal contracts?
So I really don't. I'm not sure, because I would bid it out, but I'm not sure if that changes it or not. But Chester is Chester. I'm worried about Philadelphia.
Yeah, Chester is where most like 80 or 90% black or something like that. But the dump is in the middle of surrounding black everything. You know what I'm saying? Then there's the dump right in the middle.
Chester is Chester. I'm worried about Philadelphians and how their lives are. And so what will come first to me is what would be best for my Philadelphians.
So you don't care about Chester?
I do care.
The trash that's coming from
I
Philadelphia.
do care, but I don't work for them if I'm the mayor. I work for Philadelphia.
No.
And the trash has to go somewhere. And whoever gets it's going to be unhappy with it.
Well, that's not really an appropriate answer, but we can
Okay.
discuss it.
Do we have
Jeff Gold.
That response.
It may not be appropriate, but what's been going on for like 50 years, right? Where's the trash been going this whole time? Democrat or Republican. It might not be appropriate because he said it right now. But yeah, I don't know. Because we've seen a black mayor of Philadelphia bomb his own citizens before. And he was probably a Democrat.
That response is the same way you treat the black and brown community.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Jeff Cole, you have the next question.
Yep, there it is. WTF neoliberal. This is a Democratic stage. I want to remind y'all folks that these are Democrats. This person is a Democrat running in the primary, said he really doesn't care. As if people in Philadelphia don't have family, friends, or even frenemies in that next city over. It makes no sense whatsoever. So you just watch those candidates, and it was so good to see other candidates weigh in and say, hold up, wait a minute. But it was businessman Jeff Brown who really took a whooping on this, an ass whooping on this to be exact, which came rightfully so after his defense of shipping trash to a majority black suburb of Chester. Really doesn't care. He made it. I guess, Sharon, for me, the high point of this low point was that the man told.
All right, so, there you have it. You know what I'm saying? You see what he wants to do. And, I don't know why that's our look still, right? Would have been, it's already in there. Who put it there in the first place? Like, damn, it's not nothing new. He's just like, yeah, I'm down with it. You was just pulled the shutter. That's what she's probably, I get it. He was all cold. And she like, I can't believe you all cold. But anyway, so, and this goes for these people to the Republicans and all of that stuff, because we already know. So, and this happened a month ago that I talked about what the senator was talking about, because, the sister said earlier, in the first one, because we lived back in 1919 and stuff was still this. Well, I'm here to tell you, besides living in your own communities and having businesses and stuff like this, and don't get me wrong, I'm not getting firebombed right now, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely give credit to, the work that our ancestors put in, and all the people that sacrificed themselves to still be here, but we got to understand that it's nothing new. The same thing. I don't care that it's 2023. If we don't be careful, we're going to be like, I can't believe it's 2063 and we still having the same conversation. But this was in Tennessee a month ago.
Tennessee this week is showing us what can happen when people disregard that history. On Tuesday, a bill in the state legislature that would allow inmates to be executed by firing squad was brought up for debate before the Tennessee House's Criminal Justice Committee. One Republican lawmaker, State Representative Paul Sherrill, expressed support for the bill, but felt it didn't go far enough.
Now, I was just wondering about, could I put an amendment on that? It would include hanging by a tree.
An amendment to allow lynchings as a method of state-sponsored execution.
Right. So, I already played that like a month ago, but so and I'm sure y'all heard about this one already, right? The stuff that happened in Oklahoma with their city officials, right? Because I know that we like to think that things is all sweet and lovely now, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, but hey.
Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt is calling for the resignation of several local officials following an audio recording of them allegedly reminiscing about lynching, among other hateful conversations. According to the McCurtain Gazette News, a reporter left his tape recorder behind after a local meeting when he suspected officials were discussing.
See, now why he dancing around talking about black folk, white folk, queer folk, straight folk, them folks is talking about, man, I can't wait to bring back the day where we can lynch these N-words for acting the fool out in front of the,
County business after the public had left. NBC News has not verified the audio, nor have we received comment from those allegedly involved. But in the clips, it appears the officials were talking about plans to beat, kill, and hide the bodies of that same local reporter and his father, making barbecue jokes about a local woman who died in a recent house fire, and complaining that they could no longer lynch Black people. A warning that what you're about to hear is both disturbing and offensive.
Realize, like your job, I heard the other day, said, I heard 10 or 12 people go to the sheriff. I said, let's get 20. They don't have a clue what they're getting into.
Oh, yeah,
Not
because
this day and age.
but everybody.
I want to tell you something. If we're back in the day, when I take a damn blackjack, whoop their ass and throw them in the cell, I'd run for sheriff.
Yeah. Well, it's not like that no more.
I know.
Oh no, because this wasn't the whole this was the whole conversation right here. It was more of the conversation.
They're insignificant in my life.
Yes.
Really, they bring
Don't say that, you know.
What goes around goes around.
It will. I told you it will.
Yeah.
I know where two big deep holes are here. They
I got an excavator.
These are already pre-dug. But the thing of it is, you know,
We actually told the truth.
I've known 2 or 3 hitmen that were very quiet guys
Yeah,
who would cut no mercy
yeah.
in Louisiana.
He's supposed to talk about he knows some hitmen. So I guess there's a question to is the mob still around, Erica? So I guess he said he knows some hitmen from the mafia because they all over there. So I guess so. You know what I'm saying? There you have it.
Because it's all mafia around
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but here's the reality. If the hair on his wife's head, Chris Willingham's head, or any of those people that really were behind all that, if the hair on their head got touched by anybody, who would be the bad guys?
Who'd
Yeah.
you blame for?
Yeah.
I heard the other day, said, I heard 10 or 12 people go to the sheriff. I said, let's get 20. They don't have a goddamn clue what they're getting into.
Oh, yeah,
Not this
because
day and age.
but everybody.
I want to tell you something. If we're back in the day, when Alan Marshall take a damn blackjack, whoop their ass and throw them in the cell, I'd run for sheriff.
Yeah. Well, it's not like that no more.
I know. We're taking them down here on Mud Creek and hang them up with the damn rope.
Yeah.
But you can't get
Take them down to the Mud Creek, hang them up with a rope. Yeah, you know what? You would have got. Never mind.
They got more rights than we got.
All right, so now he's saying because they can't lynch you anymore, we have more rights than them. You know what I'm saying? And again, I when people be like, we're citizens of this place, you're not. You know what I'm saying? That's just, you know, the fact that, you know what I'm saying, he like, yo, we can't just string them up like we used to in public and brag about it. You know what I'm saying? That means they got rights now, too many rights. You know what I'm saying? More rights than us. So listen, and that goes for you know, Republicans and whatever. And also, you know, when the people who educate your children are these people, you know what I'm saying? And I could show these all day, but yo, these are the people who's educating your children. And I just was showing the stuff about the teachers and stuff, right? You know what I'm saying?
Why all of you are making such a big deal when this word leaves most of your mouths every other second.
Exclusive video shows reactions from students the moment a Las Vegas teacher wrote a racial slur on a whiteboard.
Clark County schools acted swiftly, firing the teacher less than 24 hours after the incident. 8 News Now's Joshua Piguero takes us inside the classroom and looks into the training substitute teachers receive.
The racial incident happened at Sylvester Junior High School. Students tell us it was during an English class, and it has led to some parents questioning the training some substitute teachers receive.
African facial features were said to resemble those of monkeys and apes.
Students, ain't that something when they have literally monkey faces and lips and stuff like this? Ain't that something? It's called projection, though. That's why you don't get mad.
And apes.
Students captured a lesson on Tuesday by a substitute that led to his firing. As the lesson continues, the N-word appears on the whiteboard and you hear students reacting.
Whoa!
Now, critical race theory is banned, but this is okay, you know what I'm saying? Well, I guess they fired him, but you know.
Whiteboard and you hear students reacting.
Whoa! Yo! Whether we can have a fun class today where we actually talk about English. I was planning on y'all being a bunch of little punks and misbehaving, and this class acting as detention.
Another clip recorded by students shows the sub writing the N-word again on the whiteboard, sparking pushback from kids.
I don't know why all of you are making such a big deal when this word leaves most of your mouths every other second.
Out of the district's 40,000 employees, 3,400 are substitute teachers. They are required to have a teaching license and get a background check. According to a district handbook, subs must follow lesson plans teachers leave behind. And if that teacher didn't leave one, subs must talk to an administrator. We aren't identifying.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the lesson the teacher left behind, though. See,
And the teacher at this time says he hasn't been charged with a crime, but state records show that substitute teacher received.
Right, but that's what happens when you get people that educate your children. You know what I'm saying? And let me show you, Bakari. Yo, what's going on, Bakari? This is what happens when people educate your children. You get stuff like this happening. Young brothers that grow up like this when you have teachers like that.
Nothing to the well. I believe it is a vision of people who've been ostracized. Nothing to the well. See, I see white folk and black folk. I see queer folk and straight folk.
Black folk and white folk and queer folk and straight folk.
Rich folk and poor folk moving from the back to the well of the house, demanding justice right now, not tomorrow, but right now. Justice right now, and it is this movement that's gonna change this country. It's this movement in this moment in time that's gonna change the country, and I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so glad.
I'm so glad.
Yes, I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. I'm so glad. Yes.
Now I said, brother, he was like, man, I was surprised they ain't just put on the James Brown cape on him when after this was over.
She's done it again. That God's done it again. Oh, they lynched us on Thursday.
Thank God they kicked me out the Congress for me, so I'll be able to make a move like now, I guess. But look, man, all right, I'm gonna show you something, right? Because these supervised, you know what I'm saying, revolutions that we think we need and all the friends that we think we got, you know what I'm saying, and the mind state that we in right now and how pitiful that we look, you know what I'm saying? Because look, I want to show you something, right? And I don't even like this video, right? Well, let me show you this, right? This is crazy right here. So this brother just died, but he had some white girl, right?
You're pushing me. Why are you talking about my dead brother? Stupid. It's just stupid.
Chris Key would not like this of you. He would say
Out.
making a
Out.
mistake.
Man, I'm telling you. Keep my brother's name out your mouth!
Tell me to one more time.
Keep his name out your mouth!
Stop! Well, what are you going to do about it? He's dead anyways.
Poor folk and queer folk and straight and white bitches and everybody is down for the cause, right?
You're not going to disrespect my dead brother. You're not going to disrespect my dead brother.
Stop. Is that a threat? Because I will if I have to. Chris Key is dead, and there's nothing you can do about it. He's dead. He's gone. He's probably in hell.
Let me walk away before I really. You really let me. Stay away from me! I'm warning you. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. I'm not going to tell you again. Stay away from me.
Chris Key would have hated you.
Stay away from me.
Chris Key hates you. He's dead. He's probably in hell. He's probably. Shut the fuck up! He almost hit me, because Chris Key would have wanted it. Chris Key wants you to punch me in the face. Shut the fuck up!
My brother died today, you stupid! Oh my
Your
God.
brother's dead. Chris
Get away from me!
Chris Key died. As your child.
Get away from me!
Get out of my house.
Get away from me!
All right.
Large amount of money.
Hold on. There's a point where they was terrorizing this brother. What the fuck?
He's dead. He's not coming to life. He's dead.
Get away from me!
I can't hear a black man scream running away from white bitches, but they're the most dangerous species in the universe. But listen,
I just want to be very pointed that Judge Holt has advised that she is not, and will not entertain you all pressing charges against Jordan Hardy tonight for the matter that I called you out for.
interviewing, and essentially teaching myself Georgia estate law. And here's how it happened. Derek Williamson did ministry work through his church in Conyers, Georgia. And
Now listen, bro, to this young man's story. I'm pretty sure that young brother may be going home to a non-black woman, you know what I'm saying? And that might be what he got to look forward to.
Conyers, Georgia. And in 2021, Janet Hardy here approached Derek telling
Salute, Rashid.
Conyers, Georgia. And in 2021, Janet Hardy here approached Derek telling him that she had inherited a large amount of money from her parents' estate and that God told her that she was to put it back in the church through his ministry. They both put in money together to buy this property. Granted, her contribution was larger. And then together they took out a mortgage for the sum of the rest of the property. Now, Janet Hardy was going to continue to pay the mortgage, but in July of 2021, she did sign over the entire property to Derek's business. Here's both their signatures and an official notary. Derek is also the only stockholder of the company. Here's the corporate division officially filed with the Secretary of State. Jordan Hardy here unexpectedly became pregnant, and she also was dealing with substance abuse problems. Her father, open mic night Charlie Chaplin here, told Jordan that she wasn't allowed to terminate the pregnancy, and Jordan threatened to unalive herself. Derek, who was very close with the family at the time, offered to let them all move into the spare bedrooms on the property.
Look at this brother, man. What are you doing, man? It'll be your downfall and destruction, man.
So that he could help minister and be a friend to Jordan in this time of need. And then they could work the land and volunteer where they can, et cetera, et cetera. One thing you might want to know before we get into the next part of this, though, is that James, aka Jay Hardy, is actually a millionaire. He's a landlord who owns many properties. So they didn't need this place. In exchange for this arrangement, Janet said that she would take on the full mortgage and the utilities for this arrangement. Now, in April of 2022, things started to go sideways, and we have a video to accompany this.
That is none of your stuff.
Get out of my way. Get out of my way and get away from me. Get out of my way and get away from me. She told you get out of my way and get away from me. Get out. Get your hands off me. Get your hands.
Yo, it's like Get Out just straight happening right now. Like, yo, this is like that scene in Get Out where he was trying to get out the house. And he's like, where's the keys? And then you surprised that the white bitch was like, yo, I can't give you the keys. Like, yeah, that's what they do, bro. Like, whatever.
From me. Get out of my way and get away from me. She told you get out of my way and get away from me. Get out. Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. Ah, snap. I'm gonna call off. Hey, I'm recording all this. Move out of my way. Get out of my way. I'm calling law enforcement now.
See, she like when the sister be like, "Yo, we're not our ancestors," or it is disrespectful the way that we say it, right? It's just backwards, right? Because they was down for the cause, they was down to do what they had to do, right? And they knew what would happen to this brother if this was in his house today. We don't understand. Now we're surprised. It still happens, right? I guess I don't know, go in there more easier, or we're surprised when it goes down now as opposed to like 100 years ago. I don't know how that happened.
Calling law enforcement against you all now.
Unsurprisingly, it wasn't long until the Hardys started gaslighting Derek into thinking he owed them. Opposite.
Right.
Found her. Well, now we know we're...
All right, so I'm going to skip this long, drawn-out story, right? And then I could show you another one, man, because, I got to do it, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the most dangerous thing in the universe. Y'all talk about other groups. White bitches is the most dangerous species in the universe to a black man, you know what I'm saying? And then this brother thought he was about to be on top, you know what I'm saying, while messing with them, you know what I'm saying? But we see what happens, you know what I mean? And it got worse for my brother now, and they taking all the stuff away.
11 misdemeanor charges, a dramatic new turn in the case against Jonathan Majors. The breaking news, multiple alleged abuse victims have reportedly come forward to cooperate with the Manhattan District Attorney. Variety with that headline, and new questions about his future in the Marvel Universe.
Thought you could win.
Jonathan is still set to reprise his role as Kang the Conqueror in the Avengers, the Kang Dynasty. Could bank a $20 million payday.
It's a whole different fandom. It's a whole different level.
He thought he was about to get those pieces of paper with people that lynched him on him, but instead he just got the lynchings without the papers.
All of that on the line. Jonathan's legal team is ramping up their defense, releasing screenshots from surveillance video and police body cam of the alleged victim after the incident. Video, they say, proves her claims are a, quote, complete lie. We at Extra have obtained the legal documents filed by Major's lawyer in Manhattan saying there's irrefutable evidence the actor is innocent. The docs claim that the alleged victim not only went clubbing after she says Jonathan attacked her in a car, but that the driver of that car, quote, saw and heard everything and disputes her side of the story.
There she go, getting drunk right there, after she have just, accused the black man of assaulting and raping or doing whatever the hell they be lying about.
The charging docs say the woman alleged that Majors put his hands on her neck, causing bruising, leaving a laceration behind her ear, and broke her finger. But Major's lawyer claims he was the victim, accusing the woman of attacking, slapping, cutting him, and ripping his clothes. His lawyer also claims she sent him messages threatening suicide and took sleeping pills, waking up on the floor of a closet in his apartment the next morning. They are really going all out here. Is this effective, you think?
It's absolutely effective.
On the case, have they pushed back quickly enough?
Or recording from the accuser, and these things do not reconcile.
Right. So despite all of that, you know what I'm saying? I forgot. Oh yeah, Tiffany Haddish, right? She stood up for Jonathan Majors, and so now they coming at her neck too. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, listen, that's somebody said a question. You know what I'm saying? If somebody continues to do this, even though we know, right, what can we really do besides use it as a lesson, right? Should we be mad about? I am. I mean, like, damn, But when his brothers gonna learn about what's up? You know what I'm saying? So, and then check this out, man. Just because there's more of them, it's young ones, old ones, new ones. Like you said, queer ones, straight ones, all of them the same, bro.
In Massillon, Ohio. And if you know anything about the reputation of Jackson School, this group of sophomore girls took a video of themselves screaming a racial slur and laughing about it.
Just to put their faces out there, you know what I mean?
That wasn't bad enough. One of their mothers was in the video telling them, "We don't say the black word," while laughing. So before I show you the video, I want to introduce you to these girls. This is Maddie. This is the one that filmed the video. You barely see her face, but this is Maddie. And this is Cameron. She's the one that is on the right side of the video that you're going to see in a few minutes. And this is Gia. She's the one on the left side of the screen in the video. Now, I want to clarify because there is some rumors going around on the internet that the mom in the video is Cameron's mom, Kim Esposito. I have found out through extensive research and vetting of hundreds of comments that it is not Kim Esposito. So please stop trying to get her fired from Altman Hospital, because since she was not in the video, she does not deserve that.
Now, what are you going to do, right?
What I have found out by going through hundreds of comments is that the mom in the video is actually Maddie's mom, and her name is Angel. I don't know where she works. She's already scrubbed the internet of her presence. So I don't know. Do with that information what you will. So I'm going to show you the video next, but what I really want to talk about is Jackson High School's response to this video. And we'll do that after you see the video.
We don't say the black word.
So yeah, that's the video. But what I really want to talk about is Jackson High School's response to this video. Okay, so we're starting off strong with their policy on racial discrimination. And they even admit that they find the video reprehensible. There it is, the dreaded however. They said, however, after looking into this matter, we have found that this video did not occur during the school day, on school property, or at a location or activity sponsored by the district. Therefore, the district does not have any oversight or disciplinary authority. We appreciate you reaching out to us. So I did take the time to look up their code of conduct. And in fact, it does only apply to school property or school-sponsored events, which is really just a cop-out way of saying that we don't want to hold our racist students responsible for their actions. And to me, that is not.
Yeah, well, I would say that they're not out of your jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? But okay, so I shouldn't even play this one, right? But I will, because this is the last white girl thing, and this is the brothers and our response to all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to have no friends. You don't have no friends. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need any, right? But we tend to, especially the white bitches. I don't know. So I don't even like talking about this bitch, but like, look at what we dealing with our brothers out here, man.
Hi. My issue mainly was I did want an apology, so I do thank you for at least doing that. I do want to talk about the optics of two younger whites continuing white supremacist talking points. And are you saying sorry because it is backfiring to your audience, or are you just saying sorry because it's the right thing to do? Because I want you to understand that you're in the entertainment industry, but it's a unique industry that men are looking for help. They're vulnerable, and they're more than likely to repeat certain talking points that you may have.
I was saying sorry because I regret not preparing better for that, and I regret some of the things I said in that interview.
So you're not sorry because you made a statement about ratchet.
At the heart of every Buick SUV.
My bad, y'all.
Slavery?
No, that's one of the things that I said during that interview. So, sorry, go ahead.
Well, because the issue that, like I said, the optics of you two white.
Man, this is a bunch of brothers on the panel with this white bitch, and they're like, well, Miss White Lady, Miss Ann, like, why aren't you apologizing because you was acting like a white bitch? You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't go into a zoo and jump in the bear thing and be like, yo, you owe me an apology for acting like a bear. You know what I'm saying? But well, as far as brothers, you know what I'm saying? We like surprised, right? I can't believe that this white bitch would act like a white bitch. You know what I'm saying? After all I've done for her for thousands and thousands of years, and she's still acting like a white. It's crazy to me.
Younger people talking about slavery and
Right.
Holocaust
Mm-hmm.
to an audience that is open to influential behavior. Do you
Right.
I would
Mm-hmm.
like an apology about that, because I think that's the point, that because let's be honest, in this world we're trying to eradicate a lot of things.
He might well be that brother dancing on the Capitol steps talking about we made it or whatever the hell he was saying. I'm so glad, you know what I'm saying? He might well be saying, you know, black folk and white folk and queer. Well, he is saying that, so never mind. He's not, might as well he is saying it.
Ills of society. And I just think you're just another case of continuing the white supremacy talking points. It's just I don't think, do you understand that? Or
I'm
is
just what are we? I'm just confused as to what we're disagreeing on.
Right. I'm like, what the hell, Negro? Are you? I'm a white. My bad.
Because I thought we were on the same page. I said I shouldn't have made those remarks, so I'm just confused a little bit.
You said you shouldn't have made it, but do you understand why you shouldn't have?
Now, Negro, you're getting out of line here. Ms. Ann has said, Negro, you're doing a little bit too much questioning. I answered your one question now, and there's a follow-up. You know, I can't wait till it's 18. Make America great again. That's how close they are to that statement.
You shouldn't have made it because it messes up the bag and is going to make a lot of black people mad, or are you just saying
I shouldn't have made it because I wasn't qualified and it was incorrect, and I never want to spread misinformation on my show. So,
and you wonder why I say white bitches, because you know how these brothers sit there and cuss out black women for a lot less than that, you know, and want to reinstitute, you know, Jim Crow and talking about slavery and all of this stuff. They do a lot less than this, but they will bang on that all day, you know what I'm saying, and disrespect black women. But this white bitch comes in here, and this is not just on them. They come into our communities and all of these friends and people of color and all of this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And this is not for, this is to keep the young brothers from getting poisoned. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, you know what I'm saying? This is what you have to deal with.
So this gentleman
all right.
is a type of person that is expressing that he was bothered by what she said. Look at how cold her response is. There's no regret. There's no, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's how she sounded throughout this whole thing. Now, contrary, look at how she was talking when she wasn't speaking to black people on the Trigonometry podcast.
He wants,
Yeah.
but him telling your Italian friend she shouldn't be dating a black man, that's the racist part, don't you think?
I'd have to remember what he said in the clip, but maybe, yeah, maybe.
Okay, so that's why I'm asking you, because you do have controversial guests, as we do, and there's nothing wrong with talking to people who are controversial, but Nick Fuentes is a very different kettle of fish, as we say here, right?
Yeah, my opinion is that he was polite overall. He was a good guest.
He was also denying the Holocaust, from what I remember.
Look, I'm not with that. Keep me out of that one. I'm not with the race, like that's not my thing. But I just think people are allowed to have their opinions. So if he has crazy opinions, let him have his opinions. And I think he should be allowed to talk about it on the podcast.
Now they're questioning her about.
I believe that, sure.
Yeah.
But you know, when you were talking about the Holocaust with him, he was saying it's like slavery, it got embellished, and you were sort of going, I can see your point. And that's why I found a bit confusing, because then in your apology you said, well, I wasn't really educated on these things. But it sounds like you're kind of taking that back now.
There's a statement coming out on everything, so you guys just have to wait for it.
Yeah.
From
our perspective, we're kind of saying to you what we thought you might have said to him, which is, if a guest says or does something controversial, you kind of want to ask and find out why they've done that.
Now, you're seeing two different sides of her.
Right. And we already know the reason why, you know. And all right, so my bad, y'all. I ain't mean, you know, I have to always do that, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, nobody else talks about the white bitches. We always go after each other, and nobody, you know, got no smoke for the white bitches. But, you know, I'll do it for you. I'll handle it for you, brothers. So it's all good. So before I get off of here, right, I am going to show you something positive, right? Because I showed you too much supervised revolutions going on within our communities. You know what I'm saying? Even the black men saving themselves got to be supervised by, you know what I'm saying, good old Miss Ann. And our politicians are supervised by other people. And, you know, our children are supervised by people who hate them. You know what I'm saying? So let me show you something positive, and I'm going to get off of here, right? So let me do this. Right? So now we're going to talk about something positive as far as, like, you know, protecting yourself. Because, you know, I'm going to go ahead and say it, you know, at some point we have to do what we have to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to bring the American part out, since we're American, right? We have the right and ability to defend ourselves. And we have the Second Amendment, you know, to defend our personhood or our property, especially our children. And you can say what you want to say, but I'm not saying nothing different than the founders, the people they call forefathers of America. They put those criminals on the side of a mountain, right? I'm only telling them enough is enough, you know what I'm saying, at some point. You know what I mean?
Tired of seeing black people every time we're in the media about guns. It's always bad. We are law-abiding citizens, and we're not going to give up our Second Amendment rights. And by the way, the fastest growing segment of gun owners, do you know who they are? I'm glad you asked. It's women.
Women, yes.
Women.
Well,
Black women.
There's no benefit to anyone in the black community to go to any media or any entity and discuss the measures that black women are taking to arm and protect themselves.
Hello, shut up.
In the name of self-defense.
Say that one more time, sister.
To go to any
women.
There's no benefit to anyone in the black community to go to any media or any entity and discuss the measures that black women are taking to arm and protect themselves in the name of self-defense. Black people who are discussing the measures that black women are taking to arm themselves in the name of self-defense are doing a grave disservice to Black women specifically and to the Black community as a whole. This snitching, so to speak, needs to stop. It does not matter how tired or angry you are about the narrative that the media or other entities keep up about us as Black women. We need to really determine and examine why you're doing what you're doing, why you're saying what you're saying. What I have learned on my 2A journey, but revealing the measures that Black women are taking to defend themselves and arm themselves legally and lawfully represents a tactical issue. The media and these entities are trying to draw a conclusion. They're trying to determine if Black women who are trending now, right? They're trying to determine if Black women are trending or if Black women are threatening. They're trying to determine when and if we go from trend to threats. You can go to Google right now and you can see how they're trying to take the matter of Black women purchasing firearms, defending themselves, getting training, and why. They're trying to take that from trend to threat. What the tipping point is and when that is, if they're going to determine that we're no longer trending and we're threatening, we don't know when that is. But what
We know what it is. When it's enough for you to do damage, that's going to, and it's always a threat. Black people armed is always a threat. That's why it's masked as a trend and not a thing that's been going on for hundreds. It was Ida B. Wells that says there's a special place for a shotgun in every Black home, or it should be. You know what I'm saying? But we do run our mouths a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? But it becomes a threat when you get the knowledge that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? And the understanding of what you have to do with said power that you possess. You know what I'm saying? But it's always a threat. Remember that.
that is, if they're going to determine that we're no longer trending and we're threatening, we don't know when that is. But what we do know is that there are certain people in the Black 2A community who is cooperating and corroborating the data that they think that they know that's ultimately going to bring the demise of Black women. Now, if y'all want the receipts, all you got to do is go to Google and do a search on Black women gun owners, and all the articles will come up. But I want to point your attention to this one in particular, and it's on Bloomberg.com, and it's titled, Black Women Represent Growing Share of U.S. Gun Owners. And this article was published October 6, 2022. And the first half of the article talks about all the reasons that Black women are deciding to arm themselves in great numbers. Now, we don't need this information because Black women been knew what we was doing, what we was about, okay? They're getting this information and trying to put it together to make a determination. But if you look at this article, the first half of it is discussing the why, the how. It's using quotes from people in the Black 2A community to corroborate the data because they don't have enough data to actually track it. They took a subset of gun stores. They asked them, who's buying the guns? What trends are you seeing? That's how they were able to come to a lot of this data. So then they needed to go out and verify it from other primary and secondary sources. And who did they look to? They looked to people like us to corroborate that. And we know that tactically, that was not something sound to do or say.
It was not something sound to do or say. Amani Tanzan Tabari, appreciate you for coming.
In the second half of the article, it transitions to using this statement, and this statement is so telling. Here's what it says. But the trend is concerning to public health and law enforcement officials. Then it goes on to draw conclusions between the trend and the threat. It's only a matter of time before they make the conclusion that Black women are no longer trending, but Black women are the threat. And when that happens, we only have to look to how they're treating our Black men to see what they're going to do to us. And it's going to be even worse, much worse. This needs to stop. And we need to hold these people in the Black 2A community accountable. People who are running their mouths, running numbers, talking on behalf of Black women, giving out information that isn't tactically sound. If you truly, truly love Black women, you want to protect them and you want them to keep taking measures to protect themselves and arm themselves, you're putting us at risk, a very, very grave risk. Go and read these articles or Google these articles and you can see who's doing it. Let's stop it.
Right. And like she said, they don't know who's doing what, you know what I'm saying, until we run our mouth. That's something that Black people tend to do globally. When we find something, when we have something, when we do something, we tend to run our mouth and we don't shut up about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's one thing to put information, it's one thing to kind of try to teach. You know what I'm saying? It's even another thing to try to bring in as many people into your group as possible. But certain things you don't do online. There's certain things you don't do in the public eye. When you find a rare mineral, you don't have to make a press conference to let the world know what you're doing with it, especially if you don't have the means to do anything with it yet. Develop the means first, build it, and then sell it when it's time to sell it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you want to protect that, and then we run our mouth. And I'm gonna show you what the sister is talking about. Now, it's a good thing, right? But we running our mouth when we do everything that we doing. You know what I'm saying? That was a good thing, but you know, we talk too much.
Load your firearm and make ready. Fire at will.
At a gun range in Maryland, a class of black students and gun owners are training to get their concealed carry permits. It's just one of many classes of mostly black students training here almost every day.
This is the first time in history I can say that this amount of black owners has come into effect, but also we never really had access to doing so.
In 2020, black people made up the largest increase in gun purchases out of every major racial demographic.
Yeah, facts, and discretion is a great idea. Keep things to yourself, but we talk, we blab a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Because you know we gotta make sure that our revolutions are, you know, supervised, and we gotta let them know the supervisors what we're gonna plan on doing. You know what I'm saying?
Then, in June 2022, the Supreme Court expanded gun rights by striking down a New York law that limited who could receive a concealed carry permit. The ruling affected several of
Wow, business has been crazy since June. Classes have gone from 5 to 10 people to 30 to 40 people. The Supreme Court ruling has really changed things in a sense that everyone is now trying to get their concealed carry permit. They are taking a lot of classes, buying a lot of concealed carry handguns.
I own a Glock 19X. Same exact slide length as a 19, which makes it easier to conceal. That's why I chose it.
While black gun ownership is on the rise, gun sales spiked amongst all demographics during the coronavirus pandemic. Sales remained high through the protest.
When we have a critical situation, that person's moving into your direction. They may trip, they may rush you. So you got to be ready to.
Galen Muhammad is a firearm safety instructor. He teaches his classes, often of mostly black students, how to safely respond to police encounters like traffic stops while legally carrying a firearm.
What we do is we present ourselves as least of a threat as possible. As we went over last week about what to do, how to respond when the police responds to a situation where we're armed. This is called a range walk. I'm thankful that most times they react the same. You know, black person is treated the exact same way that the white person is treated. And again, that's why I say I'm pro-police and I applaud that. But it's those times where they don't treat us the same. Therein lies the problem. Slide in, and put your magazine in, take your slide, just let it go. So I tell my students, we're still not going to create static where there is none, even if the police is creating static.
You just need to give what's asked of you, and that's it. So it's that simple. Because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to avoid all problems and make it home to my family.
Black gun owners who spoke to the Post said that there can be a negative stigma attached to owning a firearm, but they also said that the culture around gun ownership is changing in their communities.
Black people, when we have firearms, we're demonized in the media. So anytime that a black person has a firearm, they're looked at as a bad guy, or they're going to point the finger and say, yeah, this person isn't fit to own firearms. So because that's been the narrative for so many years and all the propaganda has been pushed for years and years, black people have been shied away from firearms.
We as black people were always told it's not a good idea. There's always that negative, like people always assume something bad when you have a gun, right? You don't get that benefit of the doubt.
So we're going to make sure everybody's qualified. Still pass. I mean, either way you want to look at it, it's a pass, so you're good.
Now that you have more black people owning firearms, that's going to change the perspective of people owning firearms, because now that they see, okay, when you have this group of people who previously looked at it as demonized or they weren't fit to own firearms, now that you see them demonstrating proper gun safety, proper gun use and efficient skills, that's going to allow people to change that narrative.
Fire at will.
UMGC gave me
my bad. So yeah, man, and let me Yeah, so it's nothing wrong with arming yourself, but yeah, discretion is definitely a good idea. You know what I'm saying? So before I get out of here, I haven't did the history lesson, right? So I guess we'll do a science lesson right now. You know what I'm saying? This is what this is. You know, so definitely keep your mouth shut about what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But we'll just take a quick science class and then we'll get up off of here. All right. You know what I'm saying? So let me do that. That's the wrong one. All right.
Thousands of them since Russia invaded. This isn't the sort of cocktail you want on a night out. They're basically home. What is a Molotov cocktail? Ukrainians have been making thousands of them since Russia invaded. This isn't the sort of cocktail you want on a night out. They're basically homemade petrol bombs. A bottle full of flammable liquid, stuffed with a rag that's lit and thrown at the enemy. The Ukrainian government has put out instructions on how to make them and how to use them against tanks and armored vehicles. Ukrainian brewers are making the weapons instead of beer, and people are lining them up in the streets. Ironically, the weapon's name comes from another fight against Russia. Back in 1939, Russia invaded Finland, and locals started using them against the invaders. They were named to mock a notorious Russian politician called Vyacheslav Molotov. 80 years later, they remain a tool in waging war and fighting against Russia's advance. What is a Molotov cocktail?
How do Molotov cocktails work and why are they such effective weapons? In their simplest form, these devices are just bottles filled with flammable or combustible liquid like gasoline or alcohol, along with a rag that stops up the bottle top, resting in the fuel inside. This rag in the top essentially acts as a fuse or like a wick in a candle. When the rag is lit, the Molotov cocktail is thrown, the bottle then shatters, spraying flammable fuel everywhere, which is then caught on fire by the lit rag or cloth. First used in 1936 in the Spanish Civil War against Soviet tanks, what makes the Molotov such a useful weapon is how simple it is to make and how much damage it can do to much stronger targets, like tanks. Over the years, Molotov cocktails have been refined and even mass-produced, but at their core they remain this same incredibly flammable device. Sometimes thickening agents are added to the fuel to make it stick to the target, dealing even more damage. While the initial impact and explosion of the Molotov does very little, the lasting fire does significant damage, either cooking electronics, tanks, or starting larger fires. They're quite versatile and can easily harm enemies in combat. The combination of their simplicity and ability to inflict massive damage is why we're seeing these devices used so heavily by Ukrainians seeking to defend their homeland in the recent conflict with Russia.
Damn, ain't that something? Guess you can learn lessons from everything, right? It's just a science lesson. It's chemistry. You know what I'm saying? We just trying to learn chemistry. That's all. You know what I'm saying? So let me oh yeah, there's one more. Let me pull that one up real quick, and then I'm gonna close out. Yeah, definitely. It's a natural thing. Every living thing in the universe wants to protect itself. Well, I guess except for maybe black people, because we'll be like, "Oh Lord," you know what I'm saying, have mercy. But it's okay to learn science and stuff.
Started. Want to make sure we thank our sponsor. Them, you'll be helping us out. And hand sanitizer is made out of alcohol. So what we did is, of course, is hand sanitizer. And hand sanitizer is made out of alcohol. So what we did is, of course, here at Ordnance Lab, we have important scientific questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to test two different types of hand sanitizer. We have one here that's 75% alcohol and one here that is 62% alcohol. And we're going to see if they function for Molotov cocktails. And what we'll do is we're going to throw a test Molotov or a control Molotov out of gasoline to show y'all what the normal one looks like. Y'all have all already seen a normal Molotov, but all the pyromaniacs love seeing that flash of fire whenever that gasoline goes off. So we'll be throwing one of those, but then we'll go in there and we'll actually test these two different types of Molotovs to see if it works and if there's a difference between them. Because we saw with the booze video, you're able to see that whenever we went from the 151 proof to the 190 proof, about a 25% increase in the alcohol, there was a much more violent eruption. Now here, it's a smaller difference in alcohol, but we'll see if we can notice a difference. But let's go burn some stuff. All right, here's our control Molotov with gasoline. to get to break, but it's been heat treated now. Finally get our controlled Molotov done. WTF.
All right, this bottle's been broken a couple times. Well then,
All
right, that worked.
Hand sanitizer, we'll light it off and see what happens. Rag on there and see if that helps to get it any sort of more, or get it top. This was one of the scented versions. This right here, the 62% stuff.
Time for a quick. So you see how different things work as far as that go. All right, so I'm gonna end it with this, with something positive, okay? You know what I'm saying? Now this is gonna be a culmination of all of it, you know what I'm saying, of everything that we've seen here. But we gotta leave off of something at least like this. So here we go.
What? No, bitch, who the fuck is... Girl, I slapped the fuck out of you. You shut up, bitch. What you want to do? What you want to do? That's exactly what I thought, bitch. You'll get the fuck beat out of you, bitch. Bitch, fuck you. Oh, I'm about to beat her ass. She called us a nigger. She called us a nigger in Safeway.
Of course, she's sitting with a brother who had to come to her defense.
She did. Bitch, she did.
He like, she did. He probably know she did, but damn, man, and it had to be a brother sitting with her too, right? Ain't that something?
You'll get the fuck beat out of you, bitch. Bitch, fuck you. Oh, I'm about to beat her ass. She called us a nigger. She called us a nigger in Safeway. For real? Yeah, she did. She did. She did. She did. I don't want to hear. She did. She called us a nigger. I don't care. She definitely called us a nigger. She definitely did.
Oh,
That's
man.
disrespectful. To me and your kind, you can call me what you want, but you don't call me a nigger. You don't call me.
Like, the brother knew he couldn't really do nothing about it, but he tried still. But he knew he would be violating the code too much. But he tried to jump in there and protect her.
She definitely did. That's disrespectful. To me and your kind, you can call me what you want, but you don't call me no nigger. You don't call me no nigger. You don't call me no nigger. You can call me what you want to call me, but you don't call me no nigger. I don't give a fuck. Especially coming from your kind. You don't call nobody no nigger. Bitch. Bitch. No, you're not sorry, bitch. Bitch, say nigger again. Say nigger again. Say it again, bitch. Say it again, bitch.
I don't know where the brother went to.
Say it again. Who's the nigger now? Who's the nigger now? Bitch, who's the nigger?
Oh my God, Joe.
Yo, what up, Truth Hurts? Yeah, the fake cry and all the drama. Yeah, absolutely. You know, she was popping in the beginning.
No, bitch, who the fuck is... Girl, I slapped the fuck out of you. You shut up, bitch.
And unfortunately, she was sitting with the brother. I don't know where he went to at the end, but
Say it again, bitch. Say it again, bitch. Say it again, bitch. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Who's the nigger now? Who's the nigger now? Bitch, who's the nigger? Oh my.
all right. So I'm gonna stop it right there, y'all. And I appreciate y'all for listening and watching. Shouts out to you, Tanzan. Thanks for coming through. Shouts out to Truth Hurt, my brother Rashid, Bukari, Erica, Cassandra only came through, my sister Raw. You know, you don't need other people to you know, control what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to make your own moves, right? Your revolutions is okay. It's okay to defend yourself, right? It's okay to stand up for yourself, because until you do, then the same thing is going to continue to happen over and over. And until we realize that we are all we got, then, you know what I'm saying, we're going to continue to be in the same situation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let this part of Amos Wilson have the last word before I get out of here. Amani, Dada, Tanzan. All right, peace, Erica.
What is the political economy of your definition of intelligence? Europeans as to whether their tests are measured. I've warned you before that you need to change the definition of intelligence before you get into an argument with Europeans as to whether their tests are measuring intelligence or not. You must ask, what is the political function of your definition of intelligence? What is the political economy of your definition of intelligence? And why is it that the way you define intelligence always ends up that means intelligent people work for you and your interest? So consequently, then, we must recognize as an African people that the ultimate goal of intelligence must be that of preparing a people to solve their problems. The way intelligence is defined today and in America is such that if we as African people are said to behave intelligently, we are behaving in ways to perpetuate our oppression and to maintain European power over us. And therefore, it becomes important to the European to define what intelligence is and to define how it is measured. And for us to engage in futile arguments as to whether it's caused by cultural differences or genetic differences, when it really is not even the point. According to Henry Allen Bullock, author of A History of Negro Education in the South from 1619 to the present, in the beginning there was no thought of educating Negroes. Yet the necessity to do so was always present. You see, ultimately, the white man is faced with the dilemma. In his heart and way, he would not like to educate us, but the very structure and demands and dynamics of his economic system, in a way, forces him to do so.
Right, and that's the importance of educating yourself, because we are all we got. But as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.